Okay.
We're live. Will come through,
All
even
right.
though
Okay.
people
Cool.
aren't here yet. Okay, hang on a second.
Yeah. I just. I want to be. I want to go to Facebook and share it. So
I'm gonna tag you on it right now.
sweet.
Is it up? Yeah, it's up. It's up. So let me just go ahead and tag you. If you want to share it, that's fine. All right. R. Oop, there you are, Susie. Okay, yeah, you're tagged, and we got 6 people in the house. Let's give them another half a minute or so.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. I
What's
see
that?
how it shows up. Oh,
Yeah.
it doesn't show the whole. Like it.
The
It doesn't show.
like a
It's a.
landscape.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
vertical.
it's a
Okay.
portrait. Yeah.
And that's fine. All right.
Oh, I see
Okay.
you made another like the thing you put on my head that day. You've got a necklace.
Oh yeah.
You
This
made
is
that.
this. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What's
And then I.
the center of it? It's interesting. What is that?
This is an abalone shell.
Abalone. Oh,
An
cool.
abalone shell button. Yeah.
Well, you look younger. You look vibrant.
Do I?
Yeah. How's the it's been a heck of a ride these last couple of years, hasn't
Oh,
it?
God, Todd.
Hasn't it? I mean, especially since
Yeah.
22 February seemed like to be the end, a big end, and then it's been amazing since then. I don't know about you. I haven't been able to like really, get on and check people out, other than gather memes, and share them to the soldier group. But you're always so upfront about everything, and I don't know how has it been going for you?
It's been up and down. I'm on an interesting assignment right now, so it comes with a lot of challenges. And unfortunately I can't be upfront about that one because
Yeah,
it
yeah.
involves other people. But it's been an interesting ride for me and very illuminating for my own personal growth as well. So that's been the challenging part for me is seeing certain things about myself that I don't like and certain things that I need to heal and places where I still need to grow. And so it's been challenging, but it's also been I'm fully supported. I'm
Hmm.
grateful. I live an amazing life. There's so much to be grateful for. And so I'm I'm basically living in the thick of the polarity right now. I guess I could say it that way.
Well, don't feel like the Lone Ranger.
Yeah, for sure not. I know I'm not the only
Yeah, it's
one.
weird because it's. I mean, I think this period from like October through February was like October, November, December was just like massive. I mean, it was just every month there seemed to be massive gateways that in the gateways which seemed to be following like from the 10th of the month through the 22nd. Kind of the bookends were the 10, 11, 12 with all the ones and twos,
Mm.
and then 20, 21, 22. And then, of course, we end on a 22, which was a big date that a lot of people talked about over the years that would come, which would February 22nd, 2022. But gosh, since then, it's just been, it's weird because that's what I was going to say. You have what you're describing, immersing in this polarity, paradox, whatever, colossal thing that's kind of like not a burden, but like you said, that's what one thing I always loved about you. You're very, a lot of people that are very connected and high frequency, especially that have been doing it a long time. Sometimes they leave the human behind, but you never do. And then, so you have that aspect, and then you have this other aspect that's coming in, like beneath it all, that's like everything's fine, everything's expanding, the sensitivities are getting to be more sensitive. The abilities are becoming, more expansive as well. And it's interesting, but it feels good to me after all these years. It really feels good.
There's a lot of it that feels good to me as well, and then like I said, I'm on assignment, and that part doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
But that's just because I'm really going into some thick density,
Right.
and that's what I'm here to do. And I
That's right.
came, it's part of my soul mission. It's part of what I came here to do. So
Well,
it's, yeah.
no, I was going to say, I know that, because I can tell, and I know you speaking from, like there's a personal, you feel it. But at the same time, I get the feeling, which is, part of what I know about you, but I would imagine that what you're doing in collaboration, it sounds like you're doing it for the collective. Very, very
100%. Bud.
yeah.
100%. It's an interesting thing because I feel it very much at the emotional human level, and then because I have the understanding of what's going on and the higher perspective of it, I am able sometimes to zoom out and not take it so personally. But it is a fascinating polarity to me, and I watch myself dance between these two polarities of taking it personally, being in the thick of it, and then zooming out and seeing the higher perspective and having the gratitude and feeling the expansion of it all. It's like
Mm.
wild.
Do you, I mean, just in speaking in general terms, and obviously, just speak on whatever you're comfortable with, but
Yeah.
obviously all this stuff is happening and, there's always been so much focus, and rightfully so. I mean, we're all coming from the same place in terms of when are we going to see the work that we've done within ourselves reflect in what we share collectively. But do you have any feel? Because I know you channel and connect with Source, on a very regular basis. Are you getting any feel for what's happening collectively, energetically, transformationally? Are you getting any feel for where we're at or where we're headed?
I just want to be clear in the question. You're asking all the work that we've done, when do we get to see that reflected in the collective awakening?
Yeah, I mean, are you seeing? Because I know you've been doing this a long time. I mean, are you seeing any evidence of the magic taking on a physicality?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, so there's different levels, right? I see it in my own life, and then I am seeing people going through awakening experiences, and to me the, to me the evidence actually is the chaos,
Yeah.
because my understanding is that a lot of these matrix structures have to dissolve as the new earth emerges. So the chaos that we perceive it. The chaos that we perceive is the dissolution of these matrix systems that have, gripped us for so long. So for me, that's part of the evidence. Am I seeing what I would consider heaven on earth? Not for everybody. It
Hmm.
hasn't happened for the collective yet, in most ways.
Right. But yeah,
It's a difficult
go
it's a
ahead.
difficult question to answer.
No, I'm with you. Well, you're in a real hot spot too. I mean,
Ugh.
I know there's a lot of hot spots in the world, but Sedona, you know, obviously, I mean, everybody I think concurs on that. But it's interesting because you're talking about the chaos and then, of course, the polarities. And it's become, I have some friends that just moved there and they're looking for a place. A couple of beautiful 70 ish crones that are very connected that got a call on December 21st. Give all your stuff away, move to Sedona, and you will find what you need to find and serve where you are meant to serve. And they contacted me, and I contacted quite a few people that I knew. They're looking for like a 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 1,300 a month, on or around the Sedona area, and it's just there's nothing there. And so my understanding is that there's a huge commercialization, such as Airbnb and development, occurring over there, which is really, to me, kind of the what the human chaotic or the human polarity or that whatever that is, and then you have this other side of it, not to mean any type of separation, but you have this other side of the polarity, which is people like you, which have grown in numbers as well in Sedona, still doing the work, still getting on the land, and still building creatively and collaboratively together. So it must be an interesting mix when you go out into the world in Sedona every day.
I'll tell you a little secret, Todd. I don't get out much.
You're like the rest of us.
I go, I go on the land. Uh, I stay in my own little bubble as much as possible.
Yeah,
And in a lot of ways, I choose to do that
yeah,
because the energetic work that I'm doing requires extreme self-care.
yeah.
And I don't interact with a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a hermit. I have waves of being an extrovert, having some extroverted energy, and then it's right back into my own little world.
Well, that's happened. You know, that's happened a lot. I think too. COVID brought that in, or let's say COVID enhanced that. You know, it's funny because the world went into this lockdown, into this isolation. Everything got altered, and I heard a lot of empaths, such as yourself, go, "Well, nothing's really changed for us. We've been doing this." You know,
I was like, yay,
yeah,
finally,
right.
finally. I don't have someone standing right behind me at the grocery store line breathing down my neck. They have to stay 6 feet back. Hooray!
Right. Uh,
I'm playful now. I'm joking.
no, I get you. I get you. But it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic to if each one of us and many of us still, me included, Morgan included, spending time alone in that universal isolation for the exact reasons that you're talking about, both service, self-care, increasing the capacity or increasing our self-love. So I mean that's something I think that has to be having a more massive effect on the collective experience. The fact that people are spending so much time alone. I know you work you have Creation Temple, and I pop in on it on YouTube now and then. I never am able to watch anybody's video all the way through because there's just not enough time with what I do. But I know you've been engaged. I know people personally who are involved with you, and I know it's a very strong foundational, let's say, complement for people's awakening. Are you seeing any change in the work you do, in the collaborations that you have with the Creation Temple? Are you seeing, and even with your clientele, are you seeing any type of changes that seem to be touching everybody through these last couple of years?
I can tell you that my work has gotten so much more potent, more deep. What's coming through me these days is I don't know if I can find words to describe it, but I know the power that I feel from it and the feedback I get from my people, what they are feeling. And it's I don't have words, Todd.
Yeah.
It's yeah, what I would say if someone wants to experience it, to create a free membership in the Creation Temple and go to the free meditation page, because there are some recent videos on that page that people can experience the work for free.
Yeah.
Then if you like it, obviously you can purchase a subscription or whatever. But it's like, the way I know how to describe it so far is I'm bringing through codes from, not just from source, but from this multiverse, to place within the etheric structure here, and eventually that etheric structure turns into physical. So it's like laying the foundation for our future,
Right.
and also helping to shift people internally. So when I bring through these energy signatures and codes, if people want to receive them, it can actually change physical structures within their body, whether
Yeah.
it's, healing a certain organ, or um, just raising in frequency something within the body. What I feel is that it's changing people at the cellular,
Yeah.
molecular, atomical level, at the level of the DNA. It is helping to shift that.
Yeah.
I don't have scientific measurement of that. I wish I did. That would be so freaking cool. But in my knowing and in the feeling space of what's happening with that, that's what I sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of that. The people I've talked to, obviously with the show and otherwise, which has been minimal too, because I'm a hermit. I probably got 500 messages and emails, backed up, where 2 years ago it was probably 200. But I have seen and heard of a lot of people, and I've myself experienced it, which is that what you're talking about, the wholesale changes occurring at the DNA level to include physical evidence of it. And there's no, I don't really see any reason to go into all the different types of symptoms or characteristics. But yeah, and then also in their stories, like the two ladies that I was referring to, even like, with Morgan and I, getting the information in that, you've got to go one be in one hemisphere, one be in the other hemisphere, and a lot of other things. I mean, so this guidance that got us all these crazy people to the same place, it's just gotten bigger and bigger and stronger. And of course, we're listening. Yet there is this, people talked about going from carbon based to light body for years, and I feel like that, we're seeing that it's happening. But again, how do you scientifically prove that?
We're merging more of our light body aspects. We're merging, maybe we have more than one light body. We're merging that into our physical human body right now.
Yeah.
A lot of going through that process very intensely.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, when Morgan and I are physically together, and even when we're not, but more so when we're physically together, we have a routine just like everybody does. It just happens to be two of us. And typically when we connect at night, she's 95% of the channel, and, and the information comes in. But I remember very distinctly about a year ago, maybe a little bit beyond that, there was a series of channels that came through over, say, a week or so. But I remember they were, and I'm not saying this is the gospel, I'm just saying that this was the way we experienced it. And I believe there was, the higher selves came in, and it was, because we had a lot of light body interaction between us, and still do, that has physical attributes as well. But in this channel, in this series of channeling that she brought in, I believe there was 9 light bodies, or maybe 8 in the human aspect. And in that channel, they were saying to us, you can now merge with these, but it probably wouldn't be a good idea to merge with all of them at the same time. So, yeah,
Right.
I think you're right. I think when we speak of light body, there is definitely, it's a multi-body, versus maybe what I might have thought or other people thought it was just a singular light body. There is a
No,
multi,
it's multi-dimensional.
yeah,
It's like this light body in this dimension, and this light body in this dimension, and this. I mean, that's my understanding.
yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's meant to be a process. It's not meant to happen all at once. Otherwise, our physical human body would not know what to do.
yeah,
It would implode. It would be destroyed. It wouldn't. We have to tighter up so that we can manage all the light coming through us.
yeah,
Because my understanding is that as humans, those of us who chose this type of mission, we're here to channel the light. We're here to flow the light, and it takes time for the human body to acclimate and integrate that light.
yeah. Are you finding that you mentioned earlier that more people are awakening. I think we're all, seeing that. But are you finding that those types of people are stepping into your field to get some guidance, or is it more of a continued evolution of the basis that you have?
It's more of a continued evolution of the basis that I
Okay.
have. Um, People often tell me that I need to work with people who are awakening, and yet I find that where I personally know how to serve the best is people who have been on the path for quite some time and are ready to go deeper.
Teacher's teacher.
Yeah, perhaps.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No labels. We just, trying to futilely describe the situation. And you're right. I mean, so much of what's occurred, especially in the last 2 years, especially in the last few weeks, there are no words for it. There really isn't. I mean, we can try to explain it, but it's something. I guess feelings taking over. The verbalization or the human ability to not comprehend, because you kind of comprehend it, but you can't really explain it. I guess is what I'm saying. So I know that you get out on the land a lot in Sedona, and I know how important. I don't know as well as someone like you or some of our friends that live there and have a similar routine. It's such a super cosmic, multi spaghetti bowl superhighway out there. So many different types of energies. But one of the things that I've picked up on, and I'm not sure, again, that I'm just having a conversation, but the galactic facilitators, the galactic presence, the galactic aspects, which anyone that's been to Sedona will, among other things, will pick up on that presence there. Are you finding that it's becoming that consciousness or that part of us is becoming more prevalent? Are you picking up on that in any way at all?
For me personally, I'm not as much. I tend not to go to the galactic level
Okay.
of things as much. I'm more, my preference is to deal straight with source.
Right.
So and soul, that's where you and I really connect in a deep way.
Right.
I'm more interested in. Uh, I don't want to say I'm more interested, but I'm part of my mission is that connection with source, connection with soul, creating that alignment and flow of the human all the way back to source. So there is some galactic interfacing
Right.
in that alignment process,
Right.
but I don't tend to hover there or hang out there
Right. It's
very
not
often.
your bag. It's not your. I'm the same way. I mean,
Yeah,
it comes at times, but it's never a. I always look at it as they're facilitators, no different than we facilitate each other. And I'm always pretty, I'm almost, I guess, staunch. And when I do come across them and I'm like, hey, I am soul and we're equals. And you have imperfections just like I do. You might be a higher frequency and, all good, no harm, no foul. But we're going to sit at a round table of spirituality or a universal round table. But yeah, I was just curious because I've run into people in what I do that it seems to be enhanced, even though it isn't really for me. It's still kind of the same kind of
This
thing.
is definitely a place where that connection can be
Yeah.
enhanced. And as I recollect, I look back and, I did go through those initiations 6 to 8 years ago.
Okay.
I did go through a period of time where I was connecting with different galactic frequencies. So when I think back on it, like, yeah, that I did go through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you are, really have a feel for this too. But one of the other things that I've seen happening, again, in just my own journey in the work I do, is young people. And when I say young people, I'm talking about from the womb to maybe 20. like they seem to be coming on board. I've noticed it in the demographics at Soulogy. 18 to 25 group has started to pick up. We've had people come on. We've got kids talking about, telling their parents, they're going, hey, I'm from this planet and I came here to, do ABC. I mean, just lots of different, and it's a different, it's the same, but it's different. It's the same in the sense of the frequency, but it's different in how they, I guess, convey it. There's like not a lot of words. They just have like this frequency, like a tuning fork kind of attribute, and you just kind of got to be around them. And I've noticed it with my kids. I don't know if you have any feel for that at all.
Not a ton, but I do think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There is a different embodiment of certain frequencies that some of these kids have that we older folks don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did I'm just curious, how did the whole presentation of COVID affect you or not? Did it create any? Did it benefit you in any way? Did it create a burden or anything like that? Did you pick up anything with the occurrence of it or the presentation of it and the journey of it the last couple of years?
There's so many different ways I could answer that question. Just tuning in to see. I mean, for sure it impacted me, as an empath, as someone who works with the collective energy. There's a lot more heavy lifting.
Yeah.
In the energetic realms. And oh man, Todd.
It's no rush, no rush. Well,
Yeah, it has, I've had to increase my spiritual disciplines to be able to stay centered and grounded enough to continue to serve, to continue to, do the unpaid work. I have like the paid work, where people pay for sessions or whatever, and then I have the unpaid work. And to continue to do the energy work that I do with the collective, definitely I have had to really be so aware of how I'm using my energy, increase my ability to do my self-management, the energy management within myself. I have been, and I'm still doing that. Like that is something, that's one of my assignments right now, actually, is the energy management. And one of the things I realized is how emotionally, no, I don't want to say unstable, but what happened was my emotions were not as, my emotional intelligence was not as well developed as I thought.
I got you.
And I was shown through some mirroring and relationships and things that I really need to work on my emotional body.
I got you.
Because my energy was, being co-opted and used, not for good things. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had that weakness in my field.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I've been shown the past year and a half.
Yeah, that's a good thing for people to hear, I think. I guess, would you say another way of saying it is not to the self-maintenance has become more important, so that I don't carry a charge because of the what's been presented. I don't pick a side. I don't, yeah, I think for a lot of people too, and we've all been pulled into it from time to time. But yeah, to take in a polarity before COVID was, I had one perspective, but after it happened, I had another perspective. And I think what you're saying is kind of what I came to, and I think a lot of people, is like, I got some work to do. If we're really
Yeah.
going to neutralize everything and integrate everything, and everything is going to be put in the same 0 point field to increase our, our field of potential that we create from, then we've got to walk the talk. But I just didn't know we had to walk to this degree, I guess is kind of what I'm picking up. And I think that's what you're saying.
Very similar to what I'm saying. Yeah. It has really been very humbling,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the places where I find myself faltering or not doing as well as I want to do are things that I teach.
Right. Right.
Energy management and maintaining centeredness and groundedness and all these things. And here I am, like, losing my shit over here and and going into an emotional tailspin. And I'm like, whoa, Susie, what are you doing?
Mm.
Why are you allowing this to happen in your body and in your emotional bodies?
Yeah.
So it's really been very eye-opening, for me. And it's like my own version of an awakening
Yeah.
to have those realizations and understandings. And at the same time, I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful
Yeah.
that was mirrored back to me so that I could see, oh, I need to tighten this up if I'm going
Yeah.
to be going out there doing spiritual battle, which unfortunately I don't like that. I don't like that term. I don't like that paradigm, but that is what I'm doing sometimes. If I'm going to be that spiritual warrior out there, I've got to be intact.
Yeah.
I have to have my integrity.
Yeah.
I can't be flying off the handle emotionally every other day. So that's something that I'm really working very diligently on right now.
Yeah. I like how you put that. The emotional intelligence, the emotional body. It's like the human's front and center now. The body is the central point of that. Like the body, because we only learn like through experience, and this has been a real impetus for people because it involves the physical body, the program of death, but like the body is sacred. Like, I don't know how else to put it. That's kind of a general way, but I know for myself, and like going back to what you were saying earlier, when I caught it in October, late September, October, it was a 5-day, in retrospect, a 5-day initiation. The guts of it was, here's a light being or a light, an entity or an energy of light, and here is its counterpart. Now take both those into your heart and make them one and the same. And so this just progressed this procession of dark, what we might call from the human perspective, dark beings. And every time, and I had done this work. To your point earlier, I had done this work and really kind of hit pay dirt in 2016. And then I would go to a certain depth and go, okay, I'm going to be well now. And then I'd look over and there'd be another one, and then there'd be another one. And eventually, and I guess this is just, the end of that one, but I know another one will come either in this incarnation or the next one. But it was pretty amazing because when the last one happened, and this sounds a lot easier than it was because it wasn't. It was immediate. To your point about the cellular, atomic, molecular. I mean, there was an immediate shift in body temperature, in vision, in just overall the human part of my consciousness. It was instant. And I've talked to other people, and they have their own, version of it. But it's just kind of weird to go into a situation and look at something that seems so foreign, so AI, so opposite, and then get to a point where it's no longer that way. I never thought I could do something like that, to be honest with you. Because it never had occurred before. And of course, there's a lot of people, significant number of people that are transitioning, and then I think that's another thing that's I think been a big impetus for people is just the whole idea or program of death.
Mm.
When you see people,
Program.
yeah, when you see like because I caught it the same day Franco did, and so we were connected through that, and then to see that in collaboration with them, I mean, it just I thought I understood. I wasn't really afraid of death. It wasn't a big deal, but it took on a whole different definition, like so many other things.
Hmm. Yeah, fascinating. You talk about your experience of having COVID. My experience of it, I actually did a YouTube video about it. If people
Oh,
are
did you?
interested, see the whole video on my channel. But I immediately understood what was happening and my role in it,
Mm-hmm.
and that I needed to go into gratitude and
Mm-hmm.
transmute what they were attempting to do in my body. And it was a very interesting experience of feeling the AI, feeling the programming, feeling, this technology
Right.
in my body. And it was very interesting how it moved around in my body, how it traveled different places, like searching out trying to find weaknesses within my body where it could have a stronghold in me. It was very fascinating to witness and experience all of that.
What a gift.
Well, yeah.
I mean, no, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you think about it, like, if you have, well, we really didn't have a choice, though. But I mean, be it a person or whatever the energy is, physical or not, to be able to take you to places where you can shore things up. Like, how would we know if it didn't
Right.
show up,
Right.
right?
Yes. Yeah. It absolutely has been a gift to to see and understand where I need to work on myself, where I need to gain more integrity, gain more strength.
Hmm.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think another thing too is the whole stay in your own lane deal.
Mm.
Because we've had people come on here, high frequency people, and they've chosen to, get the jab. They talked about their inner dialogue or their own thought process with their higher aspects, the guidance, the direction. Now there can be a lot of speculation. Was that legit? Was it really you? And all that. But the idea of, hey, you know what? We're all souls. We all chose the basic template of our journey. And, quite frankly, going back to the top of the show and your explanation of where you've been, I don't know about you, but I don't have time to be putting my energy and my focus outside of myself because this is a full-time job. And it's become even,
Yep.
it's a 24/7 proposition. That's all there is to it. I'm not that holy. I'm not. I need to be on Todd. That's one of the many reasons that Morgan and I have taken this time to be geographically apart. There's service to self, service to each other, service to the collective. But that's one of the things I think is we are being shored up, like you said, with what it did for you, looking at places, getting stronger. Really, like, to me, it's been like we've been in preparation again, but this time the biggest before the ascension ball drops like at Times Square, right? Like I really feel like it's pretty imminent, and I think that was maybe something that ushered us to this point.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I don't know. People say everyone feels it's happening. It's right here. And, but we've said that 2 years ago. We've said that
Yeah,
5 years ago. So my job is not to, uh, look ahead in that way, but to stay present and to deal with what's right in front of me. And
yeah,
I think that's part of being a grounded human. And I'm not saying like there's nothing wrong if you want to make prediction about what's going to happen or whatever. Like I'm not
right. I
saying don't.
got you.
anything like that. But sometimes that can be a distraction. And my feeling is that what we need to do is stay present, look at what is right in front of us that we need to heal, where we need to expand and grow, and do our part. Like, in other words, let's not wait for the ascension ball to drop to
Mm-hmm.
come together and to make changes. Do your part now.
Mm-hmm.
Heal what needs to be healed now. Like, really take this journey seriously. Yes, play and have fun too, of course. But
Mm.
like, this is a serious, mission that we're on, and to take this seriously and heal
Yeah.
and grow and evolve ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to bring about this ascension or this grand event or whatever you want to call it. That's what's going to
If
have to
it,
happen.
yeah, if every moment isn't the event itself, you
Exactly.
know, because I'm with you too. I get a little frustrated. I mean, I'm not saying you do, but I over the years I get a little frustrated with all the. But I look at the. You're right. I think we many of us, you know, got out of the past because we had to deal with the traumas and so on and so on. So we became more present, which didn't mean that we were present because there was still that futuristic thing going on. So that stay in your own lane thing, you look at it and you go, oh, I need to keep my nose out of people's business, or you know what. But it also, I think, applies equally to the future. You're right. You're right. I mean, I think there's
Yeah.
always like a curiosity, but really, again, if I don't have time to be putting my nose into other people's stuff, why would I have time to put my nose into the future? Yeah. I mean, it's still
I
going to take my focus off of me. And again, it's a full time job.
it's a fun thing to do, and it's entertaining, and it's distracting from the pain that we might feel now. Like, oh, there's hope for the future. This ascension thing's going to be happening, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever your belief system or understanding about all that is. Uh, but like, how are you taking care of your soul now? How are you developing yourself? How are you connecting with your soul? How are you cultivating that connection and, really putting yourself on your soul journey? Are you living your soul mission?
Mm-hmm.
These are the things that are important to me. And one of the reasons I have such a strong resonance with Soulogy is because it's about the soul.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to be about the soul. Yes, we're here to be fully human, but to integrate the soul with our humanness. In order to have that integration, we have to get to know soul. We have to
Yeah.
get to know, who are we as soul? What
Yeah.
is my soul signature? What are my soul frequencies? What are my soul codes? What is my soul mission? What am I here to do? How am I here to do it? What's my most joyous expression of my soul mission? These kinds of questions, most people aren't asking these questions. Most people are, just trying to pay their bills, or um, just trying to get through the day.
Yeah.
They're not asking those questions. And we need to get to that place where we're cultivating soul connection and asking those questions if we want to have heaven on earth.
Yeah.
If that's what we truly want, each one of us has to get to that place where we are on mission.
Yeah. Be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Otherwise, it's just reworking the same program.
it sounds like that you're well. I noticed for myself and others that the body as the body is one of our multidimensional aspects, the one that's on point, really started to speak loud or louder with around the same time, and that's just increased. A lot of people are kind of organically and naturally, including myself, dropping habits, addictions,
Mm.
altering lifestyles. I mean, I started juicing, in July.
Awesome.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the body's like a voice in a way that it not that it wasn't before, but that it's really, I guess, on
Yeah.
point. It's like the main it's the main plug on the switchboard now or something.
Yeah.
And
Because our bodies are made up of so many things that are not us. For example, we have so much bacteria in our body. Some of it's beneficial, some of it's harmful, but like a lot of it's not truly us. Because we have so much of that in our bodies, the cleanup process, as I'm understanding it, involves getting rid of some of the non-beneficial bacteria, the parasites, the worms, the stuff that lives in our gut, the stuff that doesn't belong there, so that more of us can inhabit that space.
right.
I want my soul essence to completely inhabit my body. I want the light that I'm meant to flow to be able to have open channels and pathways to move through me. And if I'm filling myself with sugar or alcohol or, you know, stuff that doesn't serve, stuff that doesn't support my body to do that, then I'm missing a critical piece of the way that I can serve. Like the body is a grounded part of my mission. The body is the part that's physical. And as a creator, if I'm creating something and if I want that to happen in the physical, for me, the way I experience it is the frequencies move through my body first. I embody those frequencies of what I am creating first. And so if I want to use my body as a powerful instrument, it's got to be pure, it's got to be clean, it's got to be in that resonance of what I'm creating. And if I'm putting stuff in my body that's not of that resonance, then it's an interference, it's a dissonance for what I'm wanting to create. So that's how I treat my body. It's a temple, and I'm all about being as pure as possible, and you know, eating the food that really serves my body and nourishing my body in any way that I can to support what I'm here to create and what I'm here to do and who I'm here to be.
Yeah. Even when, you know, so many times we've had periods, and I just had one recently where I think I slept to, you know, probably like an average of 15 hours a day for like 4 or 5 days, you know. Awesome. And you got that little tape in your head going, you're lazy, you need to do something. And my body's like, no, Jack, I'm in charge now. This is cool. Recalibrate, integrate, you know. And it's like no judgment, you know. Judgment is lessening. You know, and then that weird things that just start to become natural, such as even how much I eat. Like, you know, like you get to 3 or 4 o'clock, you know, and I love to eat, or I used to, and I still do, I guess. But you're like, God, I haven't even eaten today. Like, but I'm not even hungry. You know, it's weird. You know, so it's not just what's coming in or what's no longer coming in to the body. It's also the amount. So that's been something I've noticed as well.
Yeah, same. I've actually been intermittent fasting, which is interesting, and I'm doing some things to detox some, you know, some naughty bugs from my gut, and I'm noticing that I'm eating less and eating more, you know, more foods that really do nourish and support, and less of like the comfort foods. And I don't desire those comfort foods as much. That was this is really cool. So when you can really have this experience or understanding that the non-beneficial bugs and parasites in the gut, they're the ones with the cravings. They're the ones that want the naughty stuff, because you're feeding them. You're not feeding you that stuff. You're feeding them. So when you get rid of them, or when you bring your gut more into balance, then their voice isn't as loud, and you start feeding yourself instead of those intruders.
That's a good way to put it.
Pride.
That's a good way to put it. I just saw and again, this isn't to like freak anybody or create any separation. I'm just, there's a lot of stuff that's integrating, information that's integrating and colliding, coalescing with let's say what we're getting in. And so this was a report out of, I believe it was the Netherlands or somewhere in Europe, where they were just coming out of this new, I guess, test that they're starting to develop, which was detecting the level of plastic in the human body.
Oh God, I don't even want to know.
Right, but and I was, as I was listening to it, because I was, you hear about the ocean where they have those big plastic blobs that they discover, and they're like massive, and I'm thinking, holy crap! Like, now I understand on one hand that we are changing rapidly, and things that may have had an effect on us to whatever league of or level of detriment has can lessen and has lessened. But just to think of that, and based on what you just said, yeah, it's not. Why would that be any different? What's inside our body as opposed to what we create? In other words, where your focus goes is what grows, right? So, talk about you are what you eat. You know what I mean? So, is that big blob gonna grow, or is it gonna be starved? Right? I mean, so that's a really good literal metaphor that you just pointed out. I know that you are, I mean, I don't even know how to, I mean, I see you so many ways, since I've known you, like, there's a, just different, the different multidimensional parts of you come out. And one of them, to me, feels very, because of your relationship with the land and Sedona, elemental. I don't want to say fairy-ish, or I don't want to classify you in a way, but, unicorn, fairy. I mean, are you still kind of communing, or is that part of you still present with you?
Yeah, I am very in touch with the ancestors here, the fairies, the elemental parts. It's not something that I necessarily cultivate my
Right.
relationship with these days, but they're part of my support system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well,
for sure, when
yeah.
we go into nature, that's part of.
Well, that's what I was gonna. Yeah, because I have like a little forest behind me, and I've noticed I'm really into the birds and the trees and the wind, and and the light and the sun and all that, and I feel like that there's been, especially with the birds, like I can pick up their energy so quick, and it's kind of like sometimes it's like, hey, like a synchronicity, like, hey, everything's great, Todd, or sometimes it's like the world's shaking today, but it just feels like they're coming online more, or maybe my awareness of them is coming online more. Maybe it's that, or maybe it's both. Because, as they say, we're not the only ones ascending, or whatever you want to call it. This is a universal scenario, and what aspects are closest to us, right? So I just every day, pretty much, when I walk outside for a second, I think, is this a day I'm going to see the fairy kingdom, that's over here on this side, or Sasquatch over here, in more of a physicality. I mean, it just feels like they're really, really closer than they ever were anyway. But I figured you'd be a good person to ask.
Yeah, I think so. I am also of the understanding that we're not the only ones increasing our abilities to connect. The
Right.
animals and the unseen world is as well. And so it's not just that we have more awareness; they're also raising in their frequency and connecting with us. So yeah, it's cool when you have the time and ability to make those connections with nature beings or elemental beings or whatever.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
Animal world too. I have a whole. Last year, I had a whole experience with spiders. I mean, my place just got overrun with spiders, and I've worked with a lot of different physical insects, animals, and such over the years when I had situations like this. But this was wild. I mean, they're everywhere. And from the get go, I just heard, we're going to see how evolved you are now. We're going to see if you are a collaborator. So, I'm trying to do this and do that, and I got spider webs all over the place. And they just started coming back now about a week ago. And the feeling is totally different. Like, I mean, I'm sitting there and there'd be a spider walking right next to me, or yeah, right next to me if I'm laying. And before, not that I was really that afraid of them, but I'd be thinking of like flicking them or picking them up with a napkin, throw them outside, or even crushing them if it had been a few years back. And now I just, hey, how you doing? And then I just go right back to what I'm doing. Now that's just started again, and I'm not going to say that I'll be able to maintain that, because there's only a few, but yeah, it's interesting how that stuff's working, though. How everything around you is becoming more compatible and more symbiotic, right? I mean, for me, anyway.
Yeah, I think I'm having a similar experience. I had a black widow in my bathroom a couple months ago. It's like, oh, hello.
You're
I
right.
did outside because I just didn't feel that my home was an appropriate place for her to thrive. But
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I put, there's some that are more, and believe me, when I get my boots out of the closet, I shake them a little
yeah,
bit. It's more of a respect, and that works more than just I love you. That's more like, hey,
yeah,
I could just as easy as I could accidentally step on you, you could accidentally bite me, right? So, but yeah, it's interesting. So,
yeah.
so do you? I know that we can't really look into the future, but and I know you've kind of given an overview of where you're at and what you're working on to the degree that you could. But do you have anything that you feel like, any direction that you're headed, or anything new popping up for you in terms of your missions and that type of thing?
Um, I'm generally not given much advance notice about such things. Uh, it's more I'm required to show up
Yeah.
for whatever arises. So uh, the only thing I can tell you is that I am planning a retreat here in
Oh,
Sedona in May to active. It's called Activate Your Soul.
cool.
It's all about cultivating the soul connection. Um, I what it feels like to me is I'll be going deeper into soul work.
Yeah.
I did a thing with light language a while back, and that was cool, and that was great, and that served. But really, what's in my heart and soul, what's in, what's really the part of me that I'm most passionate about is soul
Yeah.
and understanding, gaining some degree of human understanding about how to live your soul mission, how to execute it, uh, where you are on your soul journey, and how to move forward, what that looks like for your life right now. It's kind of an intense uh, way to live because it does require that you let go of things that are part of the programming and part of your upbringing, part
Mm.
of what society expects from you or what you expect from yourself, or whatever. There's a lot to let go of, living your soul mission sometimes.
Yeah.
Not always, it's different for everyone. But it's been my experience that there was a lot I needed to let go of and completely reorient to and revamp in my world. And so I can see myself moving forward, going deeper into executing my soul mission and really getting uh, more freedom in that regard. I'm going through a process right now where I'm reclaiming my soul at a very practical level, within government systems,
Mm.
letting them know that I'm reclaiming my status.
I like
And
that. I like that.
it's very profound.
I I'm a big I think we had a little conversation one time. And so you probably know I totally align with what you're talking about. But yeah, because I have always gotten the message, it's an all or nothing proposition. And I think what you're talking about is kind of it's the kind of the MO is, I call it the brutal honesty of the soul. So this is just me in the universe, one on one, with the human being the vehicle, kind of like the whetstone for the soul, where you can sharpen it. But in the physical experience, because the human can't be left out, and we still have to go function, this all or nothing proposition, just like what we talked about in the reflections of COVID and what it brought to the table, it continues to take us deeper, or at least for me, deeper and deeper and deeper. And having had all these come to Jesus meetings with the universe at a soul level, that's a pretty intense thing. But then to have to actually do it at the human level, because saying it's one thing and walking the talk's another thing. So how far am I willing to go? And I'm not trying to be ambiguous. I just don't want to get into specifics, but there's a lot of things that I cannot do. And again, it's gone to greater and greater depths in the physical experience, because they would hurt my soul. And but yet I make this choice, and then I'm driving down the road going, my human starts going, oh, wait a minute. What happens if this happens, or what happens? And then, the soul comes in and says, hey, we're going to do this. What can they do to you? What can happen to you? It's all about your intentions. What are you here to do? To serve myself in the objective of creating a higher level of love within myself, and then therefore that's going to translate to my brothers, sisters, and to the collective. But yeah, I think I don't really look at it as a tightrope or a plank, but it's kind of like, you keep walking and say it's like a pool of water or even lava or something, and there's no steps. And so each time you take a step, the step appears. But it doesn't make it any easier for the next step. It's not like, oh, I got this, I'm just going to, no.
That's why when you ask what I see in my future, I'm like, will appear, Todd? You know how this works.
Yeah, I know exactly how it works. I do. Even now, I've just been hit with what seems to be a pretty wholesale change for somebody who, by Earth standards, hadn't had any stability for the whole time until very recently, at least in proportionate to my experience of no stability, or what is stability. And so it's a change that I'm like, I kind of like it like this. I don't want to do anything different. And then, my soul comes in and says, well, what are you talking about? This is how you got into this game. So we just gave you a little breather, and so get ready and let's go. But yeah.
On that note, Todd, I really would like to invite people, those of you who are coming to this through me and being introduced to Todd, please look at the links that we've provided with the PayPal links and this Patreon, so that we can support Todd's soul journey as well. If you can send a donation, I would really highly encourage that.
That's kind
Todd's
of you.
doing a lot for the collective energy, so we really want to support that.
That's very kind of you, Susie. I love you. You're a very special lady and very special soul. And it's interesting too, because I'm getting like deep energy coming in, but it's so amazing, because linear is kind of fading away, and to be able to just kind of pick up where you left off. It's like the last time I saw you was yesterday. You know, it just, you know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
this, I don't want to say they're like lifelines, but, you know, I picture like you got two cliffs and you got like this thin, this thin walkway across with this gnarly rope. And it's like every time and that's how it feels to me. It's like it's not like a lifeline, but it's like almost like a physical synchronicity. So I really appreciate what you're saying. I appreciate you. I love you very much, and I look forward to collaborating with you. In the future, in the physical. And all blessings to you and all your loved ones and all your endeavors. And just keep going. And thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming in.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Y'all take care. Well, we got another one in a couple hours. And Susie Beiler, see you later. Peace out.